Good morning, everyone. My name is Kenesha DeShazer, and I'm the product manager for our academic tools and utilities products. Today, we're going to go over a training session for our Discover Adopt tool and how it supports faculty adoptions. So just a little bit about Discover. It is an application that you can use to submit adoptions, but you can also use it to search for new materials to use for your course. We have a wide variety of publisher content as well as supplies and open educational resources that you can adopt for your class. It does provide a personalized experience because you access Follett Discover through, I believe at Texas Tech, it's through your single sign-on portal. So it provides that easy integration for you to be authenticated into Discover, so you don't need to remember another username and password. So you can just automatically launch into Discover from your portal. So with that, let me go ahead and start sharing my screen. Okay. So when you first log into Discover, you will land on our My Courses page. And as you can see, here's where we're able to provide that personalized experience, because you can see for the spring term, I'm teaching a biology, history, and a mathematics course. And you can see that these what we call course cards, are in varying statuses. So you can see that for my biology course, I've already begun to submit adoptions. Whereas in history and math, I have not submitted any adoptions as of yet. And the way to think about Discover is that, we really designed it with faculty in mind because there's not a one-size-fits-all. In Discover, you can really interact with this tool however you would like to. So if you're a faculty member who you know what you want to adopt, and you're looking for a more refined result set, you can utilize our global search feature in the upper top right hand corner here to retrieve search results or title by keyword, author, or 13-digit ISBN. If you are adopting a material from a previous term that you've already adopted, you can utilize our quick readopt button here to copy a previous term's adoption. And we'll go through that. However, if you are looking to discover new materials for your course, you can interact and utilize what we call our Discover for this course search. So we'll go through that in just a second. But just before we do, there's a couple of other things I want to cover on the course card. So in looking at my my math and my history course, you can see that I haven't submitted materials. Now, if I weren't using materials, or if I were using open educational resource materials, but I wasn't adopting anything specifically in Discover, I could click one of either one of these links to send that notification over to the bookstore. So it's a quick way to send that notification that, yep, I'm not using materials, or yep, I'm using OER, but the final details of those materials are being communicated to my students elsewhere, such as a course syllabus or something like that. So if you click either of those links, that will send the quick notification over to your campus store manager. So to go ahead and utilize our Discover for this course search, you would just begin by entering a subject. And you can see we also do autofill. And so once I enter my subject, you can see that the Discover for this course button has been activated. But since I've already begun with my biology course and I've already entered a subject, let me go ahead and click Discover for this course on my biology subject. You can see here my subject has been entered as biology. And on the search results page, you have a couple of different options. You can go ahead to filter your results even further by entering a discipline and subject. You can also, narrow your search results by titles that are only that are available in our rental library. So you have those options, and you can refine your results even further by entering a keyword. So in looking at our search results, you can see some basic information about the title. You can see the ISBN, the author, and also what we call here, these are like badges. So you can see that this title is part of our rental library. It's also available in our digital content platform called Brightway. And then this third little badge here called pre-approved. This is if it's an optional workflow that your campus can put in place, if that's how you'd like to handle adoptions on your campus. But basically, with the department administrator, they would go in and pre-approve this title so that it's like they're giving their stamp of approval. So since they've already given their stamp of approval, if you adopt this title, it's going to automatically be sent over to your bookstore for processing. So it's like, you know, this is a title I've already approved. It's got the go ahead, and you can go ahead and adopt that. So that's an additional or optional workflow that you can put in place based on departments. So let's go ahead and let's view a little bit more information about this title by clicking on View Details. And so now I'm on the title details page, and you can see some more information about the title, such as a table of contents, a description about the title, as well as if there's a digital desk copy available. And you can see over here in the on the right side, the different purchasing options. So this title is available to buy. It's also available to rent, new and used. And just a quick note about the pricing is it is source specific pricing. So this would be the, so the price that you see would be the price that your students would be paying. Then you could select, your material usage. So whether it's required or recommended, and you can, since I've already adopted this title, but you would be able to adopt the title here. And then scrolling down a little bit more, you can see other related items from the publisher. Just by scrolling through the carousel, you can see other titles that are related. You can see that other titles that instructors have adopted along with this title. So CMEH Unlimited is popular. And also there's a ratings and review section. And if you leave a rating or review, this would be viewable to all users in Discover. So it would, you would be able to submit your review on how you like that particular title. And so then let's go ahead and find a title that we can adopt. So I'm going to go back to the Discover search. And let's go ahead and view this biology title. Again, you can see the description, table of contents, and purchasing options. And I'm going to go ahead and adopt this title by clicking the Adopt button. And you can see once I've adopted the title, I've gotten this green status message at the top of the screen confirming that my adoption has been successfully submitted. And now I'm on the adopted course materials page. So you can see all of the adoptions that I have submitted for my course. And you can see along with each title, there are different status messages on the top of the title card. So in this amber colored, we have pending status. And if I hover over this pending status, I can see that it's pending institution review. So this particular department has that workflow in place that I mentioned with the department administrator, so that my adoptions would make one pit stop before they are submitted to the campus store, and that would require that department administrator approval before my adoptions are submitted to the campus store. You can see that this particular title here has already been approved. So once your adoptions are approved, you will see a green, you'll see them go from the amber colored pending status to the green adopted status. Now OER automatically gets adopted. You can see it's an OER title because it does not require bookstore processing. So also, if you are looking to adopt more materials for your course, we have these other features located at the bottom of the adopted course materials detail page. So I can choose to quickly readopt a title from a past term. If I'm looking to curate content for my course, I can click the create button to go ahead and create a custom course pack using our integrated course pack creation tool through Xanadu. And if I'm looking to discover more materials, I can go back to the Discover search by clicking the Discover button. And also in Discover, we have something like over 10 million titles, but there's always that one that's like hot off the presses and, you know, it's we don't have it in our database yet. So if that ever happens to you and you're trying to find a title and nothing's happening, then you can click this Add a Title button. And you would enter some basic information about the title, such as author, title, and publisher, and any other relevant details. And once you do so, this add button would become activated. And you would be able to submit that as your adoption for the course. And your bookstore manager would work with you if they needed any further details to go ahead and source that title for you.
It looks like we have a question from Dr. Stewart.
Yes, I do see his hand up. Hi, Dr. Stewart.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for being here today with us.
Sure.
I just had a question going back to that administrator approval path that you were discussing. Is that set by default, or is that something that administrators would set on their own?
So by default, the permission level is set to instructor choice. So that means that instructors can adopt whatever they would like. However, if you would like that review and approval process to be implemented within certain departments, it's something that the department administrator who you so assign could very well go and set up. But by default, that particular workflow is not in place. By default, instructors would be able to freely adopt whatever they want, and they would those adoptions would automatically go over to the campus bookstore for processing.
Great, thank you very much.
Sure. All right. Yes, and guys, please raise your hand if you do have a question as I'm going through the session here. And so then the other button we have here is the Add My Content button. So if you're looking to, so we'll go over OER and Discover, but let's say there's some OER content that you would like, you have some self-authored OER content that you would like to upload into Discover, or there's existing content out on the internet that you would like to adopt for your course, you can use the Add My Content button here. So once you click this button, you can enter a URL or upload a file such as a course syllabus and some information about the material. And you can select whether you would like this material to be viewable to everyone in Discover or just your students. And then finally, attesting to the terms and conditions. And once you click and you've entered all that information, then this add button would activate and you would be able to adopt that to your course as an OER content. And that would be viewable to your students within the learning management system through Discover Access. So speaking about OER, let's go ahead and go back to our Discover for this course search, and we will see how Discover displays OER content. All right, so now I'm on my home page again. I'm looking at my course cards, so I'm just going to go and do the same Discover for this course search based off of the subject that I've previously entered. And you can see that in Discover, we have our search results ordered in a tabbed fashion. So on the first tab, we've seen, and we've had a chance to take a look at, traditional publisher materials. So that's going to be our first tab. On the second tab, we have our supplies. So this is our supplies tab, and we have everything from bar charts to goggles, lab kits, you name it. So that would be our supplies tab if you're looking to adopt supplies for your course. And then the third tab here is OER. So this is our OER tab. And I'm in our demo site. Our demo site seems to be a little stubborn right now, as demo sites do. Okay, so here we are. And you can see this is what our OER tab looks like. So in Discover, we aggregate OER content from several different providers, including, OpenStax, Lumen, Coursera, and Merlot. You can further refine or filter your results by keyword. So let's say we want to just look at titles that include the biology keyword search. And now I can see some OER content here. I can click on view details. And here on the title detail page, what you'll notice is that for OER titles that we have available in Discover, you will see an access material link just below the description. So you can click this link to read through the content and determine if this is something you'd like to use for your course. All right, so that about covers the adoption pathways. So I'll just go over what we call our My Library feature. So as a faculty in Discover, we add your previous terms adoptions to your library. And you can also add your own materials to your library to create a resource list of materials that you would like to refer to. So let's go ahead and go through that process. So let's say I wanted to add one of my previously adopted books here. I want to add this one to my library. I'm going to do that here. So by clicking add to my library. Okay. We can see now that biology title is available in my library. And you can, so as a faculty, we do add these by default for you, but you also have the option to add materials or titles to your library as well. And as your list grows of materials that are available in your library, you can also organize your materials into shelves. So I could add this to a shelf. Let's call this my biology shelf. And so I can start to organize my materials in that fashion as well. So now you can see I've gotten the green status message that my shelf has been created, and now I'm viewing my biology shelf. I also have my all books shelf, that I could view. You can also share your materials. So you can share your library materials if you're willing, if you are wanting to share a material with a new faculty member. You could select the materials you'd like to share and enter the email address and click the Send to Recipients button to share that material with your recipient. You can also share your adopted course materials as well. So if you would like to, for example, if you have concierge users submitting adoptions on behalf of you, they could also share what's been adopted for the course, or if you're looking to, if you have new faculty and they're interested in what's being adopted for courses, you can share what you've adopted. So by clicking that share feature and selecting the course that you would like to send the adoption on, and so an attachment of the adoption is going to be sent to whoever you enter an email address here. So you would just enter your recipient's email address and click Send to Recipients, and that's going to send an email with the attachment of what's been submitted as the adoption for that particular course. And then finally, I'll just cover our message center. So this is our built-in communication hub that we have where you can communicate with your campus store. So if there's a message about an addition or format or something that you'd like to communicate to your bookstore manager, you can quickly enter a subject and the body of your email to send them a message. You can also upload an attachment. And the nice thing about the Message Center is that you actually don't have to be in the Message Center to continue communication. So for an email that you've already submitted, let's say for any that you're more often using your Gmail account, because by default it's going to be your .edu account that communication is initiated from. So you could change this to your Gmail account. So let's say you're more often in your Gmail email account. You can update your email address here by clicking that little gear icon, so that any follow-up or subsequent communication you would manage through your Gmail account. So you wouldn't have to log into Discover to continue that communication. But all messages would still be contained within the Message Center. So that about finishes out what I wanted to cover in today's training session. At this time, I'd like to open it up for any questions that anyone may have.
We did have a question in the chat. And Courtney's question is, how do we indicate that we are not adopting a textbook?
Okay, so yes, and that would be right here on the front of the course card. You would click this, I have no materials to adopt for this course. So just simply click that link and that will send the notification over to the bookstore that you're not adopting any materials.
Great, thank you.
Sure. All right, what else do we got?
Sort of a related question to that one perhaps is, we've asked that adopters go ahead and submit their planned adoptions into Follett Discover, even if they're not using the campus store as where they want students to purchase it. So for example, the faculty member may have, let's say, a professional association that provides the material directly to the department or something, but we want them to list it with the bookstore because the bookstore, according to our state mandate that we have to meet, is our repository and lister of all course materials that our courses require. So how can they enter, you know, I'm adopting this information, I'm adopting this material for my course, but I don't want students to purchase it through the bookstore. Can they do that? Or is that a separate notification that we need to give, say, to Mario or somebody on his staff?
Yeah, Mario, I think I'm going to defer to you on this one. Is it a physical material, Dr. Stewart, or?
Well, it could be physical or virtual.
Okay.
Digital, maybe better.
Okay. Yeah, Mario.
Yes, in that case, we would prefer an email to let us know, because if we receive the adoption, we're going to go ahead and process it and post it, and then it'll show online as available to order.
Okay. All right. So if it's so Mario, if it's just a matter of them complying with the need to have their material listed, we'll just send you an email.
Yes, please.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And then we'll communicate with them from that point on.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mario. Thank you, Dr. Stewart, for your question. Anything else?
Kamisha, this is Suzanne Tapp, and I just wanted to say we appreciate you and your clear directions, and thank you for being willing to speak with us.
Oh, thank you. No problem. It's a pleasure. So let me see. Sorry, I'm not used to Zoom. We use Teams, so I'm trying to read the chat here. Okay, I think we got the question.
Yeah, I think you're good to go.
Okay, well, thank you so much, everyone. It's been a pleasure. If you guys do have any follow-up questions, you think of anything else, please reach out to Mario. If it's something that that I would to be able to address, he has my information. He can certainly reach out to me, and we can resolve any issues for you or answer any questions that you may have. I believe you guys have also received those the faculty training guide. So that's a quick, I think like 3-pager guide that you can reference if you do want something physical to refer to as you're going through the tool. But it really is designed to be kind of intuitive, so there shouldn't be much of a learning curve to it. The last thing I would like to also mention is that for first-time users, there is an in-app tutorial. I was already logged in, so it didn't pop up for me, but you can, your first time entering into Discover, you'll get a pop-up, which will give you kind of the nickel tour of the application. And then in the footer here, there is also a video that you could watch about Discover as well. So, but if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out tomorrow. We're here to assist you and help you with anything that you may need.